Praised be Jesus and Mary. Today in the Franciscan calendar we celebrate St. Nicholas and companions. And St. Nicholas and his three companions are among the 158 Franciscans who have been martyred in the Holy Land since the friars became custodians of the shrines in 1335. Nicholas was born in 1340 into a wealthy and noble family in Croatia. He joined the Franciscans and was sent with Father Deodat of Rhodes to preach in Bosnia, and there they labored with great zeal among the heretics, refuting their false doctrines, repaying insults with blessings, visiting the sick, comforting the afflicted, and gaining many souls for Christ just by their extreme kindness and charity. Many people esteemed Father Nicholas as another Christ, while others persecuted him with a relentless hatred. And at heart, he loved those who hated him more because he desired martyrdom and thought that they might obtain for him this grace. Although after 12 years of labor in Bosnia, all opposition died down. So the opportunity for martyrdom was gone. And so they volunteered for the Holy Land missions in 1383, and they were sent there. In 1391, Fathers Nicholas, Father Deodat, and Father Peter of Narbonne, and Stephen of Cuneo decided to take a direct approach to converting the Muslims. And after a prayerful preparation on November 11th, 1391, they went to the huge mosque of Omar in Jerusalem, but were not permitted to enter. So they asked to see the Qadi, or the Muslim official. And reading from a prepared treatise, they proclaimed that all people must accept the gospel of Jesus. And when they were ordered to retract their statement, they refused. And this outraged the crowd so much that the priests were knocked down to the ground and almost beaten to death. They were then dragged to a dungeon and bound hand and foot, tortured and kept there for 3 days without any food or drink. And on the third day, November 14th, they were taken out into the street where a large fire was burning and asked once again to recant. And when they refused, they were slashed to pieces with scimitars, and their dismembered bodies were thrown into the fire, but refused to burn, despite the fact that the fire was fed with fuel all day long. And under the cover of darkness, the Muslims buried their remains so that they wouldn't be gathered up by the Christians. And God glorified these martyrs with miracles. Pope Leo XIII solemnly confirmed their veneration and beatified them in 1889. Pope Paul VI canonized them in 1970, and if World War II hadn't interfered, they may have been canonized in 1941 when Croatia observed the 1300th anniversary of its conversion to the Catholic faith. St. Francis presented two missionary approaches for his friars. And St. Nicholas and his companions followed the first approach for several years, which was to live quietly and give witness to Christ, just as they did in Bosnia. And we saw how successful they were there. But Jerusalem was a different story. They felt called to take the second approach of preaching openly. And their Franciscan confreres in the Holy Land are still working by example to make Jesus better known. And I'm sure that if, they took the second approach of preaching openly, they would obtain the same results as St. Nicholas and his companions obtained. So let us pray, and remember in our prayers all the persecuted Christians in the Middle East and throughout the world today on this feast of these holy martyrs.